Hello, friends. This is Chandrakant, and I welcome you graciously on Legal Matters. Today, we want to discuss about something which is very remarkable, and half of India was not even born at that point in time. The story is of 1975. It was a case between Shrimati Indira Gandhi and Raj Narayan, and the case was ruled in favor of Mr. Raj Narayan. Srimati Indira Gandhi lost that case, and the ruling was made by Allahabad High Court. It's a very historic judgment, and to discuss this further, let me invite my friend Mr. Jeet Bhatt from Ahmedabad.
Thank you, Chandrakant, for having me in this legal matters. And I'm looking forward for this discussion in a very important judgment of the Allahabad.
Yes, in fact, there was a time where it was known very publicly that India is Indra and Indra is India. That was a slogan which was promoted, and I think most of us were not even born at that time. Almost 50 to 60% Indians that we are today were not even born in 1975, and that was the power of Srimati Indira Gandhi, where she can equate herself with the country of India. Being such a powerful leader of our nation, she lost a case, and I think we would like to know. It's very interesting to know, such a remarkable leader, very popular leader, lost losing the legal battle. I think you can throw more light on this one.
Yes, absolutely. It was a very important judgment of that era and a very important historic development which happened thereafter because of this judgment was the imposition of internal emergency in the country. It was declared on 25th of June 1975. This judgment of the Allahabad High Court was declared on 12th of June 1975, wherein Srimati Indira Gandhi election from the seat of Raebareli was declared to be void, and therefore, in order to nullify that judgment, she was compelled to declare emergency on 25th June 1975. But what had happened and what were the facts and how this came up before the Allahabad High Court and what are the rulings, that is what I want to discuss with you in this show. The facts were that the general elections for the Lok Sabha was conducted in the year 1971, wherein Srimati Indira Gandhi and Shri Raj Narayan were contesting from the parliamentary seat of Raebareli. Indira Gandhi had got 183 votes and was declared the winner from that constituency. And thereafter, she continued to be the prime minister of this country. But Raj Narayan had filed an election petition immediately after the results were declared, alleging that Srimati Indira Gandhi had indulged in some corrupt practices under the provisions of the Representation of People's Act. And therefore, his petition alleged that the main contentions of the petition were that Srimati Indira Gandhi had procured an the assistance of one Shri Yashpal Kapoor, who was a gazetted officer in the employment of the Government of India, holding the post of officer on special duty to the Prime Minister's Secretariat, and having the assistance of a gazetted officer during election and for election purpose amounts to a corrupt practice under the provisions of the Representation of People's Act. The second allegation against Srimati Indira Gandhi was that she had procured the assistance of the armed forces of the Union for furtherance of her election prospects, as the members of the Air Force uh, had arranged the airplanes and helicopters at her instance for her to address the meetings at her constituency. So the reason given is that by having assistance of armed forces, of gazetted officers, of police forces, as well as the officers of the state of UP, he was having a dominating position. And to use that position over other candidates amounts to inequality in treatment to all candidates who want to contest elections from that position, from that parliamentary seat. So those were the allegations which were made. Also, allegations were made that the agents of Srimati Indira Gandhi had distributed quilts, blankets, liquor, etc., to the voters and had influenced them to vote in her favor. Also, it was alleged that free conveyance was provided by the agents and Mr. Yashpal Kapoor to the voters to come to the polling station. Therefore, the entire election was challenged on the ground that Srimati Indira Gandhi had indulged in corrupt practices for winning that election. So the court then framed certain issues in the matter. The first issue which the court framed was whether Srimati Indira Gandhi had obtained assistance of Sri Yashpal Kapoor for her elections while he was still a gazetted officer in the service of the government of India. Srimati Indira Gandhi had a battery of lawyers who were engaged and were defending the case, and wherein she had stated that Yashpal Kapoor was a member of the government of India, but he had resigned on 13th of January 1971, and the resignation was orally accepted on 14th January 1971, and the notification was also issued accepting his resignation, which was issued on 25th January 1971. So she refuted the allegation by saying that once the gazetted officer having resigned and the resignation having been accepted, and then from then on, whatever he has done, he is not the gazetted officer of the Union of India. But the court went through the entire documentary evidence as well as the oral evidence, and also interpreting the service rules, came to the conclusion that Sri Yashpal Kapoor could not have been seized to be a government servant till the date of notification was issued by the appointing authority accepting his resignation, which was accepted on 25th of January 1971. So therefore, the court held that whatever assistance Yashpal Kapoor had given to Indira Gandhi till 24th of January 1971, he was a gazetted officer. And it was also proved that he had given speeches on 7th January, and from 14th January onwards, he was the election agent and had carried out several functions for the election prospect of Srimati Indira Gandhi. And therefore, in the month of January till 24th January, whatever functions and assistance was given by Sri Yashpal Kapoor was done by a gazetted officer of the government of India. And therefore, this amounted to corrupt practice under the Representation of People's Act. On this ground, the court held that yes, this issue is proved in favor of the petitioner Sri Rajnarayan and against the respondent Srimati Indira Gandhi. With respect to other allegations, which were that she had procured the assistance of the armed forces as the Air Force planes and helicopters were arranged for her to reach the constituency for giving election addresses. The court, interpreting the entire documentary evidence, held that the Prime Minister of the country is entitled to make use of Indian Air Force aircrafts while traveling for official as well as non-official purpose as well. And in the facts of that case, the court held that by using Air Force planes to reach Raebareli or to reach Uttar Pradesh did not amount to taking the assistance of the armed forces in furtherance of her prospects for the election. And therefore, that issue was held in favor of Srimati Indira Gandhi and against Raj Narayan. But with respect to the third issue, which was whether at the instance of Srimati Indira Gandhi and her election agent, Sri Yashpal Kapoor, the district magistrate of Raebareli and the superintendent of police and the home secretary of Uttar Pradesh government arranged for rostrums, loudspeakers and barricades to be set up for members of the police force to be posted in connection with her election tour. Because normally whenever a prime minister or chief minister is coming, police force is always there to provide security. Also, sometimes barricades are also issued if there is a big gathering. But what the Uttar Pradesh government servants had done was that they had procured and arranged for rostrum, the Shamiana Mandap, and also arranged for loudspeakers and electricity, which was not within the purview of the state government because during an election it is to be done by the party and the candidate. So what the court held in with regards to this issue is that it was conclusively proved by documentary and oral evidence that the rostrums were constructed by government agency for meetings addressed by Indira Gandhi in her constituency. And it was proved that the gazetted officers of the state, particularly the superintendent of police and executive engineer PWD, got the rostrums constructed for the purpose of public meeting addressed by respondent number 1 in her constituency. So this the court held that yes, Indira Gandhi had procured the assistance of gazetted officers in furtherance of her election prospect, which gave her an edge over all other candidates because while contesting elections, everybody is equal. And therefore, having assistance of government servants, armed, and also the election agent who was the gazetted officer, amounts to unfair practice, amounts to a corrupt practice under the Representation of People's Act. So this issue was held against her and in favor of the petitioner. With regards to other allegations that she had distributed quilts, dhotis, liquor, etc. to the voters, and also that she had provided conveyance to the voters to reach the polling station, the court held that the petitioner could not prove these allegations. But two allegations of the petitioners which were proved were that the candidate, Srimati Indira Gandhi, had used the assistance of Sri Yashpal Kapoor, who was a government servant, a gazetted officer of the government of India, and also used the services and assistance of the gazetted officers in the state of Uttar Pradesh. And on these grounds, she had indulged in corrupt practices, and these grounds were proved by the petitioner. And ultimately, the court held in favor of the petitioner, declaring the election of Srimati Indira Gandhi as void. And further, she was disqualified for a further period of 6 years from the date of the judgment for contesting elections under the Representation of People's Act. So this was a huge blow at that time to the government, and the prime minister was to lose her position overnight. However, this judgment was stayed for a further period of 20 days, and therefore she was not to be removed immediately from the post of prime minister. But what happened in those 20 days is that on 12th of June, this judgment was delivered. But on 25th of June, the Council of Ministers and the Prime Minister wrote a letter to the President saying that there is an internal state of emergency and you declare that there is an emergency in this country. And on 25th June 1975 itself, the President proclaimed the state of internal emergency, and the fundamental rights and civil liberties were suspended. All the opponents of the government were taken in custody, detained for a period of more than 20 years. The state of emergency lasted for about almost 2 years. In that time, what the government did was that they introduced an amendment to the Constitution, which was the 39th Amendment Act, wherein Article 329A of the Constitution came to be inserted, which provided that the elections to the post of prime minister cannot be challenged in any court of law. And this was remarkable because this took away the power of judicial review, which is which had been considered to be the basic structure of the constitution. And this this changed the entire structure of the constitution. And therefore, the power that she wielded during that time was enormous, which was never seen before and even afterwards. And therefore, that constitutional amendment came to be challenged. And the Supreme Court delivered a landmark judgment, the matter of Srimati Indira Gandhi versus Raj Narayan, where the Supreme Court held that this constitutional amendment was unconstitutional and it altered the basic structure of the constitution. Also, during the state of emergency, what she did was that she amended the Representation of People's Act 1951 with retrospective effect so that the grounds on which the judgment was delivered were nullified and taken away. And therefore, the entire judgment of the Allahabad High Court was nullified. And the Supreme Court had to accept that since the act has been amended with retrospective effect, the grounds for challenge were not available. And therefore, it set aside the Allahabad High Court judgment. But it did rule that the constitutional amendment with regards to Article 329A was bad, illegal, and void. This is what had happened during the time when internal emergency had been declared. And yes, she had tremendous power during those times. And it is because of this judgment of the Allahabad High Court that this historic event had happened.
So this is very remarkable, and it is almost like a plot of a movie when you narrated it. And nowadays a lot of these OTT platforms are showing these political dramas. So this story, it happened in real, but it sounds like it appears to be a movie plot. But Jeet, let me ask you one question. What is the state of affairs now with regard to the modus operandi of the politicians?
Well, see, election petitions are filed under the Representation of People's Act. Several petitions are pending before the High Court. So, and there are allegations made by both the parties. So well, so there are corrupt practices which are going on, and there are petitions and there are judgments which are being delivered. But ultimately, it is very difficult sometimes to prove these allegations in court. So therefore, what happens is it goes unnoticed or it goes unproved, and therefore we cannot have such uh, judgments in every petition. So therefore, corrupt practices are prevalent in the country. We can't deny it, but it has to be curbed, and such petitions have to be filed before the High Court, and the High Court has to deliver judgments in a uh, in a short period of time, rather than taking too long.
So, Jeet, the 49th Amendment, which was made during the emergency, what is the status of that now? Is it applicable or it has been challenged?
So 39th Amendment was challenged to the Supreme Court, and some parts of it were declared to be unconstitutional. And thereafter, in 1977, the entire amendment was removed from the Constitution. So it is not in the Constitution anymore.
Oh, okay, it is already taken out from the. Okay, so then it's a sigh of relief for a lot of people, because then once you become a powerful person in India, then nobody can challenge it. It is almost like an autocratic state. So it's a good thing that
Absolutely.
it was taken out from the constitution. So I think it's very interesting. I am sure people can read a lot about it. I'm not sure whether a lot of information is available about this incident, but whatever is available, I think it gives a lot of goosebumps hearing about this. How the power was taken away and then wielded by the people who were in power. It was I would say that it was a dark political history of our country, which has been corrected now. So, with this, I think I'd like to say thank you, Jeet, for giving us all this information. It's quite interesting to learn about these historic cases. And I will say goodbye for today. I will meet you with some other very interesting legal matters in the next episode.
Absolutely, Chandrakant. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye bye.